You are listening to The Ben Keech Show, where every day the objective is simple. Ben will never stop fighting the fight and lighting the light on topics that affect you every day.
Welcome to episode 83. This is the Ben Keech Show, and that happens to be my name as well, so this all makes logical sense. Thank you for joining us and being a part of this today. I have these young, well, they're not boys anymore. They're actually men. And so we're going to talk about kind of some of the things that transferring from high school to adulthood, transferring from being a boy to being a man, and just some of the awakenings that sometimes we have in that. And I'm not going to talk about mine. I remember some very clear things back in the day. We'll get to that later. I actually want to start with Daniel. I said because Daniel's the oldest of these guys. So we have Zach, we have Daniel, we have Bret, we have Johnathan. And so my question for you, Daniel, is how many years are you out of high school? How long has it been now?
A little over three.
So how would you, what would you say? And obviously, you know, being in the Marines and you've had some experiences, but how would you say you as a person have changed from high school graduation to now?
I'd say just maturity, really. 18-year-old graduating high school, it obviously isn't as mature as a almost 22-year-old Marine. Based on just my experiences in the Marine Corps, it's not necessarily a lovey-dovey organization,
Right.
So
So what's maturity? So how would, because you've always been a respectful, responsible person. I would always liken you as being a, mature. So how have you gotten more mature? Like, what does that actually look like? What does that mean?
When you're putting yourself out there, you graduate high school, and then in a matter of months, you're immediately moving into something so vast and just quick.
Right.
And so you got to learn quickly.
Okay.
And so when doing so, I feel like that just helps you adapt and overcome even further into like your career, whatever that case may be.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are recent graduates, right? You're all the same. So there probably hasn't been anything big that's necessarily changed. You're the summer after your senior year, but have you felt or noticed any just feeling like being out of the high school, even for the short time? Has there been any subtle changes that you guys have experienced just personally?
I have a big one that jumps to mind.
Yeah.
I'm not as freshly graduated as John and Bret. I've done a year of college.
You've done a year. Okay.
Now,
Gotcha. Right.
This is something I talk with my mother about quite frequently, but once you graduate high school, the goalposts are gone. There is no straight line way to measure your success and your maturity at whether you're doing the right thing anymore, because you don't have those figures of authority and institutions always looking down, teachers hunting you down if you're not doing your homework,
Right.
PE teachers making sure you stay active,
Right.
stay in shape. It's on you. You're more
Right.
of an individual. And I think that's kind of where my definition of maturity comes in. I think being a mature person can be measured by how able you are to align yourself with your goals and who you want to be. And so I feel like every waking minute of my life since graduating high school, in one way or another, has been me acting in the pursuit of achieving the life that I want to live by achieving my goals and becoming the person who I want to be, if that makes sense.
What life do you want to live?
I want to live a life where I'm autonomous and I have freedom in my day-to-day.
And so then, okay, keep explaining. So how would that look as a 30-year-old?
As a 30-year-old, that would be looking like I am able to spend as much time doing whatever I want, whenever I want, and that I'm working not out of necessity, but because I think it's fun and it provides me fulfillment.
What's the generation we're in now? This is you guys are into millennials. You're not the Gen X. We're Gen Zs.
Gen something. I believe that's right.
That is a Gen Z DNA comment right
It
there.
is. That's what we all say, isn't it?
It is.
Uh-huh.
And so where do you think, so it's interesting. So where do you think, I can guess, but where do you think that mentality, and I'm not saying anything right or wrong. I mean, I actually love it personally for different reasons. William may not like it, but it's okay. He's not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the, where does that come from inside of you to have those types of desires?
In my personal opinion, I think this applies to me and to others in our generation. I think that we have a different spiritual outlook on life, and that the lives that we see our parents living, like you, Ben, and my parents, I think you guys are Gen X.
Yeah.
I think I see you guys kind of somewhere in between us and baby boomers, to where you chose to live kind of like a more traditional lifestyle of pursue a good career, hold a stable career, and do all of the traditional things such as like raise a family, own a house, take your kid to the ball game,
right,
kind of thing. And I kind of see that. I don't think that fulfilled and satisfied my parents in the same way as it did their parents. And I foresee myself not being able to live and lead a happy life if I was to live that lifestyle. And I understand that is a very broad and general statement. And if I knew how to avoid that, then I would be doing it already. But
why do you think that traditional lifestyle would not lead you to happiness or to be fulfilled?
I think it could, but I view happiness as kind of a spectrum. And so I don't think I would be as happy as possible. But because I think that human beings, we are animals at the end of the day to an extent. And in order to thrive as an animal, as a being, you need to have the autonomy and ability to pursue what you want to do and listen to your own individual will.
Okay. So I'm going to keep playing this. I know if you guys want to pipe in. So
Please do.
So so I'm going to challenge you on this. So let's say that you're a man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we know that, right? And let's say that you let's say that you end up getting married or end up having a kid or something. Let's say that ends up happening somewhere down the road. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But your autonomy is important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can somebody define that?
Yeah. Do you want to? Go ahead. You
Yeah.
can define it.
It's like your ability to lead yourself and to follow your own rule instead of someone else's.
Your own boss.
Your own boss. Be your own boss.
So,
Okay.
So there's a part of, if you're a man and if you're too autonomous, that may mean that you're not, taking care of if the cat wants to go out, it's okay. That means you're not maybe you're not living for your wife as much or your kids as much. So in other words, being a dad, there's a sacrifice that comes with that. You're sacrificing things for you for the betterment of your family. And what you're saying is you struggle. That could be a difficult thing because of your desire to remain autonomous, which could, I'm not saying this, which could be linked to selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But autonomy also on the flip side of the good side is a man leading.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that, for instance, don't know a great example of this, but let's say that you, let's say that you make a decision personally, like this is what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to, this is a weird example, but I need to, you're going to ride a bike across America. Okay. So
Random example.
Let's
Who
say,
would do that?
well, there's only someone that's very autonomous. So in the meantime, you won't see your kids for 3 months. You won't see your wife for 3 months, but it's something you personally need to do.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with relationships, I think, is that they don't respect autonomy enough. We don't own people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't we clinch into our male and our partner, males to females, females to male, and we control because we need them to be something for us versus allowing them to be free, to be themselves, and to admire and grow within that. And so it's a tricky balance, but I think it's an important point of clarity, because if your desire is to be autonomous, but you end up getting married, you end up whatever, and then feel trapped in that situation. I mean, you're the beautiful, perfect wife for you is one that's going to allow you to explore autonomy, trusting that you have her best, like you're not doing it in a selfish way against her. But it's your own discovery. It's your own time on this planet to do certain things. And she's trusting that thing. And it's in this, but gosh, and I want to stop talking, but it's piggyback to this thing, because guys find themselves in a place sometimes, and I'm not speaking for myself. I wouldn't even say this is completely true about me, but men in general can find themselves in their 30s, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, lost, aimless, a desire to do this, but it just got washed out in the family life. And I got to do this. And almost like the opposite side, like the responsibilities of life zapped kind of some of the things Johnathan might even be talking about the joy and the motivation of what I want to do on this earth. I am single. I am not dating. I have zero. I have my kid responsibilities, my work responsibilities, and that's that. So if I want to go here, there, or whatever, I have complete autonomy, and I absolutely love it. For me right now, it's perfect. And that's what that's what I want. That's my direction. And I think more couples need to give, but it's that control. It's the jealousy. It's your mind. And that stuff tears apart. You got to be careful. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking for a second, because I just said a bunch of stuff. I'm curious as I advertise for Blue Moon.
I think a big part of like relationships with that, I've never worked with her to tell me, but I'm learning. I learned that
Still beats
last
me
5 minutes. Is just like the idea of letting whoever you're in the relationship with, letting your partner do what they need to do to be who they need to be and what goals they want to have. So if you need to ride your bike across America, it's about letting your partner do that because that's what they need to do, and not judging them for being gone for a while, but knowing and trusting that that's just a step in their life that'll help maybe clear their mind or accomplish something or do something that they've wanted to do for a long time that can be important for building a relationship, because it'll help you or help the person who's doing it.
I mean, and I know that, you know, if I get married again or if I'm with somebody, there's going to be a level of freedom that I'll need, you know, that, but I also hope that I provide them safety and comfort and protection, that like they know me, they know who I am, they know they trust me, but know like, you know, Ben's going to do his thing and that's okay. He's here. If I commit, I commit. If I'm there, I'm there. There's no question about that. So it'll be interesting. I'll be curious how your journey happens, you know, with that, because it'll be interesting.
Well, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I've actually been in about a 3-year long relationship now. So for you, that might be frivolous, but for me, that's a long amount of time.
Oh, 3 years is 3 years is a long time. It's 1,000 days.
Yeah. And like on that topic, me and my girlfriend, we talk about this all the time, and I'm so lucky to have the most wonderful, like amazing girlfriend in this sense, and how supportive she is. But we very much view each other as individual people first, and our paths are happening to collide, and that we're able to share that and enjoy our time together. Great example of that is she plays a sport in college, so she doesn't have too long of summer. She has like a month here. And last summer, we knew we were going to go long distance, but I was backpacking Europe with my friends. So I selfishly took away all the time we had together in summer between graduation and school starting. And, you know, that's a big commitment, kind of similar to if you decide to bike across America, if someone does that. And I'm so blessed to be able to say that my girlfriend was so supportive of me, and she wanted me to do that because she values those life experiences and that autonomy just as much as I do. And then we work together, you know, we do that, and it strengthens our relationship in a way that I think is maybe unique to like relationships where the couple respects each other so much as individuals, you know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And that's, I think that's it's a gift. I mean, it's a gift when you allow that, because it's just not a selfish move. It's a whole like let them person, you know, thing, like let people be who they are, let them do. Now, if it doesn't work for you, then it's okay. Then we move on. If it's not right, I mean, but just allow people to be them and do themselves. That doesn't mean if they're pissed on you, not literally, if they're like, sorry, bad example, if they're not being a good person to you, obviously you should leave. I'm not talking about that, but you understand that it's an interesting, it's a good, I don't know, it's interesting, I think. So on the let's stick on the dating side. So you guys are all, young folks. So what's the what, and I know we've talked about this in a different episode a little bit with a couple other people, but what do you guys, what are people doing wrong out there at your age in dating? What are people in general my age doing wrong at dating? I mean, that's 2 episodes.
2 episodes.
You guys only have 1, but no, but seriously, what are some of the things you guys see that people are doing, that they're missing it? Guys, girls, doesn't matter.
Do you guys want to say anything?
I think
I have thoughts.
I think a problem that people have is when you date someone, you shouldn't be, if I mean, maybe you don't always know this in the moment, but I feel like there's times you're not always going to be with this person.
Right.
And I feel like people will just keep dating them. It's fun now. Let's have fun for the next 6 months, even though we're going to end up breaking up. I think that's an issue, because I think if you truly believe that we might be together the rest of our lives, then that's the people you should have relationships with. If you don't believe that that's even possible, then I don't think there's a point to even have a relationship with them at all. In terms of like having a girlfriend boyfriend situation.
Right.
I see that all the time, like, and it doesn't make any sense because they're dating a person and you're like, oh, okay, you've been dating them for a couple months, like, do you think you're gonna like keep it going? And usually the typical response, which is really sad, but they'll usually say probably not.
Yeah.
Just like that's just dating in today's day.
Yeah.
Like it's just normal at this point.
Hobby.
Exactly, and it shouldn't be. And it's a problem, but
Well, probably dating like work, like college, like all the things should be intentional.
right.
And it's I think it'd be hard to respect I think from the man side, I think if a man's doing that, he's only losing if he's not dating intentionally. If he's I'm with her, I just want to have somebody around or whatever. I mean, I'm like, then you need a mom, like you're just needy. It's like you're stringing somebody along, making them think more than they are. I mean, are you being honest?
It's a label.
What?
People want to be labeled as having a. People feel like they just need to have someone.
Yeah, true.
Like,
right.
So the random uncle asks, "Oh, are you dating anyone?" Yeah, I have this girlfriend for 2 months. Ooh.
Yeah,
Like a rebound.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. What you have any of the dating stuff that you see out there in the?
Yeah, I think stuff is messed up.
Really?
I don't know what it was like when you were younger, Ben, but like I agree with you two on that take like entirely. And I think on the flip side, I see some people who are having the opposite problem and are like almost so reluctant and avoidant to enter a relationship for whatever reason it may be, like always looking for the perfect person.
Right.
Or scared of failing, or like some ideal of wanting the first person you date to be your life partner. And I think that's kind of like a general societal effect from, I don't want to just say social media, but things like social media and the internet are feeding young people these ideals almost in the same way that
It's always ruining everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
Everyone gives into social media at some point, no matter what. But at the end of the day, I feel like it is ruining a lot of younger relationships.
How? I don't always understand that. How is it ruining?
I mean, depending on who is like how you're perceiving it, I would say a lot of people, whether it's a guy or a girl, will see something on social media and immediately think like it's just like perfect, like other people's lives. Oh, this friend's getting married.
Oh,
this person's getting married.
Comparison.
Like exactly. And like I don't think like that, but a lot of people do. And so
I think the deeper problem is with the people who, not actual social media, because social media is a tool. Social media doesn't make us think that way. We are the ones who are choosing to think that way. I think if I see something like, oh gosh, I wish I was on that boat with all my friends, or I wish I had this girlfriend and we were going to Europe or something like that. I think that's the bigger problem, is just like wanting things or comparing or like thinking, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had this, instead of just focusing on what you do have and seeing those things as, oh, I'm happy they got to that, or
I wouldn't
something
necessarily
like that.
blame social media for that. I would just blame society, really.
Yeah.
Because they're using social media in the wrong way, I guess.
Right.
That's a good lesson to educate all of ourselves on. We see the picture perfect thing that isn't always picture perfect, and maybe it is picture perfect, but that covetousness of that, the jealousy and that comparison thing can eat people up. And then if you are with somebody, especially like with married people, why can't we have that? Why can't we do, then there's like, that can be spun around. It can be a bad spiral, instead of just being, just accept, at peace, I think. Yeah.
I wanna ask you then, Ben. So, what was it like for you back in like the 50s, when when you were our age?
Well, I have Alzheimer's, so I can't remember.
But seriously, if a guy and a girl liked each other,
Yeah.
and they were flirting, and maybe they started dating,
Yeah.
what led up to that point, and what was it like? Because I think we can all confidently say that process is entirely different.
So you mean answer it for the 50s, or like when I actually experienced it?
When you actually experienced it, how about,
I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, the obvious difference, I think, was that, the man pursues, it's courting. He pursues her. He's asking her out. He is showing interest. He gets shot down. He does the same thing. He gets shot down.
Mm-hmm.
Now we teach, well, women have to, because we have, everything's flipped around. So, women are always in their masculine. Men are always in their feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
What do you mean by that, Ben?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
women they have become the go-getters in relationships. They become the pursuers. Not obviously always, but definitely more now than before. The man even has an expectation. Well, like, I need to make sure she likes me. Like, I need signs that you're actually interested in me, which is like horrendous to say. Like, you're like, so just I think the first mentality is men pursue women. Women say yes or no. We move on. That it's not the other way around. I'm turned off by a woman who's, outwardly pursuing me. Now, obviously, some girls like, hey, it just doesn't happen. Like, the only women that pursue men, I found out. Well, this is like probably not. It happened. If it happens, if it happens here in Vegas and she's by herself, she's a hooker. Don't get it.
Come on,
like,
man.
oh my gosh, some girls come up to me at the bar wanting to talk to me. Like, all your buddies are like, dude, she's not. She's on the clock. Okay, she don't get excited. Anyway. Out of Vegas. So
Really the hangover.
the yeah, right. But it's also just the gentleman side of it. I mean, there is women are, not just holding the door, but that's a part of it. Not just paying for the meal, but that's a part of it. But like an honor to talk to her. Like, there is sometimes it just gets confusing for guys. I feel like, even especially for your guys' age, it's like, well, do I go too far here? Am I this? Am I like being like, here's the deal. Women want men. Women are attracted to men who know what they want, are consistent, are clear. Wishy-washiness and being all over the board and like asking her for permission, asking like it's just a turn off to women.
You're gonna get yourself in trouble, man.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I own the show, so it's fine. But I think that your generation, this generation is, and people my age and dating are just confused on, especially men, on what to do. I talk to enough women. It's as clear as day to me. I could write a book about it.
Mm-hmm.
I could advise men all day long on how to do this the right way.
Yeah.
I know what women want. Now, that doesn't mean that I know everything, or I know the basics of what they want, and it's old school stuff. It hasn't changed. So I think you have to shut out the noise of like, you know, I don't think you bring girls the flowers on the first date. I think you're a little suck up. Like no, she earns those flowers. When I bring her flowers, it's because I already love her, or I'm growing to that, and it's going to be at a random time. But I'm not doing this like bells, you know, like at a wedding, right? You know, you feed them the cake, you all these rituals. Get rid of those rituals in dating. They're queer. That means weird or unusual. It's just dumb. Just be consistent, pursue her, get to know her. You know how many times I've talked to women who they've said like, he doesn't even like really know me yet. Like surface level, like get out of the surface level stuff. Find out about her. Like what makes her tick? What does she like? Like just get to know her. So I don't know if that happens today. I don't know. I don't know all of, you know, and I don't even know how much all of that happened back then either, you know, to be honest. I just think there used to be more respect, you know, and it wasn't, you know, I'm just like, you know, hookup culture. I don't, you know, it just, the blinds are blurred. It's just kind of, I don't know. See, I mean, you guys probably know more about like how the younger people view those things, but I have to think there's some old school folks still out there traditionally dating, you know, I would think, but I don't think, you know, you guys would know more about that.
Well, like kind of like what he said earlier about people always like seeking that person. You know, in my opinion, I feel like it just kind of happens. You're never looking for that person whenever.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I've always thought.
Me too.
And so, like, someone that I know, I'm not gonna say his name, but is always seeking out and always kind of complaining
Bob
when they haven't found that person, and they always like tell me that they haven't found that person that they really want to, and they really want this to happen. This, like, it's not gonna just happen when you're just trying every single day, texting every single girl on your phone.
right?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I feel like that's just what's going on nowadays.
Yeah. Well, and that may be the what we were talking about in a previous episode with the instant gratification, you know, just like,
Right.
I don't know, maybe similar, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's also, when you're like that too, you're socially perceived. When you're available to everybody, then you're special to nobody.
Exactly.
Like who would care to pursue someone that
Right.
like doesn't take any convincing to be with you? I think that you kind of shoot yourself in the foot like that, because that makes you seem low value, especially as a male. Like you're low value, you're desperate for some sort of female attention or validation, and if that's where you're at, don't even think about it.
It's
like
gross.
you're done.
It's gross to, yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah. But it does come into like, I think there's an aura and a confidence that there is. It just, he's not trying too hard. He's not trying to like be more. He's just who he is. Just be himself. Be who he is. And women read that as it's natural. It's safe because she knows what she's dealing with, versus someone who maybe is like he's lying all the time, or he's all over the board. Like they can't. There's their hearts. Because remember, women are emotional creatures by design. That's the beautiful part of women. They are emotional. And that's what's wonderful about women. So they like to rest their emotions in stability. That's the cement that they're looking for. If you're not, which again ties, if you're not that way, to them, they're just throwing their emotions all out of whack. They're out of whack with you. They can't like relax, you know. And that's, you know, I mean, that's women want to be able to relax in the peace of their man.
There has to be that balance.
Yeah. I'm an emotional creature too. I want to be able to relax and feel comforted and supported by my partner. And I think that also brings up kind of, you know, nowadays I think there's more of a partnership in relationships that are successful. You talked about how back in the day it was a man's relentless pursuit of a woman, right? I think
or pursuit. I mean, relentless, maybe desperate, but yeah, I'm with you though. Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, you guys could disagree with this. It kind of falls into the ideals of when you expect your partner to be perfect and perfect in all of those like gender roles as well. I think it's important that you like help each other grow in those roles as well. As in, like, I think my girlfriend as a girl in the relationship should help bring the masculine and coax it out of me, and then vice versa. I bring the feminine out of her.
Yeah, I'm gonna struggle with that one a little bit. I actually think that I think it's older men in your life, dad or whatever, that are the best, I mean, if they have it, the best teachers for you to be the best masculine man that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that like I don't like the idea of a woman teaching a man to be a man. I don't want to teach a woman how to be a woman. I want to. Now, it doesn't mean that there can't be support. So, like, for instance, like if she's like, Zach, I really like when we, when you, like just when we had that whole Saturday, there's no phones, there's no agenda. Like, it was just the most amazing day with you. Like, and then there's like these other Saturdays where you're like busy, give her an hour of your time and she felt not important or whatever. My point is like her expressing like when you do those things, like how it feels, that is her telling you how to be a man. That is her saying that she has a need, and when you have filled it, how she feels, but also how she feels when you don't. And just like she may not be telling you what to do exactly, but she kind of is. Versus like, okay, Zach, here's a 5-step process on how to be a man. This is what I need. Like that's her and her masculine. And that's we don't always hear it the same way as we would from like our dad or a brother or even a friend. Like, hey, dude, like, so I just think, I would tell you and her, the more education you can do on what the masculine and feminine really is and what it isn't, and understanding it, I think it leads to a healthier relationship. It's not who does the laundry. It's not who makes the most money. It's not those type of gender things. But I think it's something to explore, for sure. But in more of an educational way together, I think, and see what you agree with and disagree with. I may not like it all, but anyway, that's just my thought.
Yeah, can I change the topic, bro?
You can.
I just want to, because I know we're talking about like young adult life or whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, like, what made you want to get into the Marines? Like, what did you think you're going to get out of that? And then, like, share about some of your experience, than that. Because I think that's very fascinating.
First reason I didn't want to go to college. You could probably talk to William about why I didn't want to go to college.
I got a question for you with that, though. So, like, isn't there things in the military where you can get like your school paid for?
Yeah, so you could there's multiple ways you could do that. So you could use the GI Bill once you're out. You can only do that once you're out. Okay. And it'll pay for your college. Or you could go to college while you're in and get it's called tuitions assistance. It'll pay for your classes. There's a bunch of different programs that you can go through to do college. Me personally, I just didn't want to do college. I want to do a trade when I get out, and I get out in like a year. What were the other questions you had?
Yeah, just kind of like that. Like what type of trade? Like, just what have you learned? Like from a discipline standpoint, like Marines, that's probably the most dangerous. Would you agree that's the most dangerous? Branch of the military.
I couldn't agree or disagree really. So discipline wise, I would say the Marine Corps has definitely set a foundation for me. And it's set me up for success in a bunch of different ways that, I can't even think of, because other people will look at the Marine Corps more as like a career, and they'll do 20 years and they'll retire. Yeah. Me personally, for what I want in life, I'd rather just use the Marine Corps as a stepping stone and use what I learned and then progress into what I actually want to do in life. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely helped with discipline and focusing more on the little things than the big things, because in reality, if you can't do the little things right, you can't get to the big things,
Shout out to Ryan Darst.
Yeah.
What trade do you want to do?
Lineman. Yeah. You know what a lineman is? Like they work on the electrical lines,
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. See what that millionaire for the Chiefs that just signed all that money. I think he's a lineman.
Yeah.
Which kind of lineman?
Well, we're actually in a wrap up time tonight, guys. So we're gonna close up. Very interesting, guys. You guys, we've people following your stories, your journeys, and honestly, these last episodes that we've done, there's just so much depth, so much to it. I think, I've learned stuff just by sitting here listening to you guys. So it's been, I'm sure people out there have enjoyed it, and you guys beyond your years, I think, and your intellect and your insight and wisdom. So it was fun. I had a fun time. Thank you, everybody. This was episode 83. Signing off until next time. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. You can reach out on Ben's website, www.benkeechshow.com, or on social media to chat. And please remember to subscribe so that you never miss an episode.